system in place to keep us in chains. By a show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? Percent trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome, everybody, to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck is everybody tonight on this October 27th, Tuesday of the horrible year that has been 2020? Welcome everybody to tonight's show. I appreciate everyone for being here. Only we're exactly 1 week away from what could potentially be Armageddon. So, you know, who the fuck knows there? And we're, you know, less than, 5 days away from November 1st. The year's almost over, slowly but surely getting to the point where, things are just going to be hopefully better. Every day closer to the New Year's, hopefully, a step closer to, resolving issues, possibly, potentially. I don't fucking know, but whatever. Excuse me. But again, thank you guys very much for being here. As always, I appreciate your support, and tell your friends, tell your family. We're so close to 1 million for September, and I really want to make it. Please make it happen. But anyway, enough for me begging for downloads. Because today, I got another band with me, or at least half of the band with me. They hail from Massachusetts. They are a folk pop, duo, and one of them describes their newest album as a kind of a soccer mom album, but we'll let him describe that for you in his own words, and we'll kind of go more in depth and find out more about them and who he is and everything else like that. So, without any further ado, please welcome from the band Safe Hands, Mr. Mikey Adams. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
I'm currently at a rest stop in Harvard, Massachusetts. I was on my way to work, and I was like, you know what? Come have a cigarette, have an energy drink, talk to you for a while, and here we are.
That's the best way to do it.
Oh yeah, the world keeps moving.
The world keeps moving. Sometimes in a really bad direction, but hell, it's moving at least.
As long as, it can't remain this sucky for much longer. What a anomaly of a year. I'm ready to move on.
As the stereotypical Bostoner would say, it's been a wicked pissa of a year.
Yeah. Well, wicked pissa means good. So it's
does
the
it?
Of pissa.
Oh, it means I've always thought it was a bad thing. See, I need to spend more time up in New England.
You got a place to stay with me, bud.
Oh, gnarly, because
no. If something's pissa, you're like, oh, that was pissa, wicked pissa.
Oh,
that means awesome.
I've been using it wrong for 30 some years. Damn it! I need to be more cultured. I drink. I drink your beer all the time, but I need to be more adept to your your vocabulary apparently.
Sam Adams?
Oh man, I just finished off a 24-pack of Oktoberfest, and I'm happy as hell.
I was in a Sam Adams commercial.
Were you?
Yeah, the Christmas, the Winter Lager commercial like 2 years ago.
Oh, nice. That's actually.
so stereotypically Boston. But so our guitar player, at the time, he was from Australia, so he was visiting. I don't know if we were practicing for tour or whatever, but we were like, as we did with everybody, all right, let's take him on the Sam Adams. And when we were leaving, they were like, "You guys driving?" We were like, "No, we took the T." And they brought us in a room, and there was like cameras and actors and shit. They ended up keeping us there for 3 hours shooting. They put us in like funny Christmas sweaters. We polished off 2 cases of beer. It was like the best day ever.
Yeah, I mean, and winter lager's not a bad beer. Cold Snap
No,
sucks.
man, especially after like 8 of them.
Oh yeah, Cold Snap sucks, but winter lager's good.
I mean, luckily I live in Central Mass at the moment, and there's a brewery in our town that's like the #1 rated brewery in the country. It's called Treehouse, and it's more like the real juicy New England style IPAs than the more traditional Sam Adams style. It's just whatever your preference is. I could drink anything, but
yeah, I'm an
I've been
IPA.
on that kick right now.
Yeah, I'm an IPA guy as well, and where I live at in Northern Virginia, I mean, it's fucking beer country, wine country like crazy here. I mean, there's a brewery on every corner. And one of our most popular local brews is a company called Devil's Backbone.
Okay.
And Devil's Backbone, man, they make some killer IPAs. And there's so much good beer in this area. I mean, I don't have to.
We might have to do some swaps.
Exactly. I mean, the only national brand that I do drink is Sam Adams, just because.
Yeah,
I mean, Oktoberfest and all the other summer brews that they come out with, fantastic. But other than that, it's local, man, for me.
Oh yeah, you got to go local. But I mean, I still pick up the seasonal mixed 12-pack Sam puts out, because it's usually like 4 different beers, but every year there's a new beer they make for that 12-pack.
Yeah, there was what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was one called Fresh as Hells, and that was fucking amazing. That was a nice orange lager or ale. Ooh, whew. That was so good, man. Can't go wrong with Sam Adams.
Thirsty over here. I don't know where to work.
As soon as I'm done with, I'm gonna go crack me one and go cook some dinner. See, that's the benefit of doing nothing but this. The downside of it is, the money sucks, but sometimes, it's I don't have to worry about going to work anymore. So,
I think working from home would be bad news for me. I mean, this quarantine's bad enough as it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, my wife is a teacher, and she just had to go back, actually this week, today, actually, to do hybrid learning with the kids. So, and the way
they need to be more well compensated for what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing but respect and admiration for teachers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, in where we're doing it, in Northern Virginia, they're doing it like a weird split to where only K through 2nd grade is going back to school.
Okay.
So everyone above 3rd grade is staying at home. Well, my daughter is 10 years old and she's in 5th grade, so I got to stay home with her and make sure she's doing her shit. So
well, at least that's a good. I mean, that you can work from home, and obviously.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit.
Thing.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit. It's something I have, never done before, because I spent 20 years in retail plus doing entertainment between, music and, stand-up comedy and stuff like that. So I've, spent very little time at home. And, I just left the retail business earlier this year, just as the pandemic hit, and dedicated my whole life to nothing but entertainment. So I've been kind of blessed in that way.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, but at the same time, I miss going out and doing something every day. But at the same time, I enjoy just being at home working for myself.
Right. Working for yourself is it's not like I have a problem with authority or anything. I just hate like being forced to be, in a place with people that you would never usually, communicate with, and and I think I just don't do well in those situations. Like if I'm working for myself, or like I'm working right now for a buddy who's doing we're doing a lot of like the live stream stuff, like putting together live streams with merchandise and you know, records and pre-orders and all that stuff, and it's cool. I could do this all day, but like when I was doing, you know, obviously as a musician, I worked a lot of food industry, like I was serving and then I was bartending. It's like put on a happy face, you know, 12 hours a day with people that are condescending to you the whole time. It's like, God, this sucks.
Yep, I know that feeling all too well. You know, but you know, as a stand-up comedian, it gave me a lot of material.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of material too. I just I release it all via Twitter when I've been drinking.
That's the best way to do it. Gain a following and then throw some music at them. They're like, oh, this guy's pretty funny, so might as well buy his music too.
Oh no, it's more like I'll say something like, you know, why are oranges called oranges but grapes aren't called purples? And I'll get my 2 likes, and then I'll post something like, oh, by the way, here's my life's work. My band's putting out a record. Crickets. I'm like, fuck, should I just talk about how sad I am instead?
Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks about social media. Like I'll post, you know, like a picture of a nature photo or just a stupid meme on my Instagram, and it'll get hundreds of likes. But I post about the show and crickets. But then at the same time, they're not clicking the like button, but they're still clicking the link to go listen because I'm getting, you know, 40 or 50,000 downloads per episode, but they're not clicking that heart button though. It's like, come on. So like you can only click one or the other. You're only going to click heart
Show
or link.
love, like, right. Like make me feel like I'm doing something with my life.
Like they can't be bothered to click 2 things. They can only click one. It's either they're going to get a like or we're going to click the link. It's one or the other.
I'd rather click the link than the heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously, I'll post like a picture of me drinking a beer with the caption, "I'm a giant piece of shit," and I'll get like, you know, hundreds of likes. And then I'll be like, "Hey, I wrote this song about this girl I was in love with once," and then I get my mom saying, "That's nice, honey."
And to my listeners, please continue to click the link. I'm not doubting you for, you know, but
don't just like it.
No, do both. But definitely continue to. If you're gonna do one or the other, just I continue to click the link and listen, please. If you don't listen, then I don't get streams and I don't get money. So, you know, hey, whatever.
You gotta get the man paid, people. Come on.
Exactly. Gotta get everybody paid, you know, musicians too. Yep. That's the whole idea behind the show, is talking about you guys. So let's go ahead and get into the music for a second there, because as we were talking about before, you know, I hit the record button, you were in a band previous to Safe Hands for the last 20 years or so. What happened with that, and you know, what was that all about?
All right, so I was in a band called A Loss for Words. In 2003, I joined, and then we ended up splitting up amicably in 2015. You know, we were all getting older and didn't want to be on the road 10 months a year, and time to move on, I guess. Stop beating a dead horse. But yeah, so that's what I did for a living my entire adult life, from high school till I was, you know, in my 30s. You know, I say we made it to the minor leagues, but never got called up to the bigs. We signed a record deal. We were on Rise Records, and they were awesome for us. And you know, we played in like 30 plus countries, and that's the only thing I ever knew, and it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. So when we decided to hang it up, it's not like I stopped creating music. I just needed a new outlet for it. And that's where Safe Hands came in. So
in 2015, when you guys broke up, or hung it up, I don't want to say broke up, let's say hung it up. You know, what goes through your mind at that point? I mean, as somebody that, like you said, you've only done that your entire adult life. And now to wake up that next morning and say, okay, we just amicably agreed to not be in a band anymore. We don't have jobs anymore. What goes through your head?
What the hell am I gonna do with my life? Like, my experience is pretty much limited to that. I mean, you can always go back to school. It's just not something I've made the jump to yet. But you're basically starting from scratch. It was a scary thing, and it's been in a big adjustment period, and it's I think everybody else was ready to move on from the industry. My singer actually is an artist manager in LA, and he works with some bigger artists. He's doing really well, but I'm the only one still writing music. I'm just a stubborn man. I don't want to do anything else.
I mean, and that's just the thing. I mean, when it's in your blood like that, and that's the only thing you've done, I mean, can you be expected to do anything else? I mean, it's not like just hang it up one day and say, all right, I'm done playing the guitar, I'm done singing, I'm done writing music. All right, now I'm going to go work in an office. Some people do it, and some people, that's just their life plan. But at the same time, the select few that okay, fine, this was different, it was fun, all right, now try something new. That's just the way it goes sometimes. I mean, look at all the different bands that have just created something different after a long tenured band, and just to because again, it's their lifeblood. I mean, they can't picture themselves not creating music, not being up on stage and not feeling that adrenaline rush, and they can't not picture hundreds or thousands of fans singing back their songs to them while they're live up on stage. It's a feeling that is unreplicated. You can have the greatest orgasm in the world, but nothing compares to walking up on stage and seeing somebody sing a song back to you, and have those feelings of just that endorphin rush. It's unparalleled. It really is.
Yeah, it's like we went to some strange places. Like we played a show in Moscow at 2 a.m. to like 1,000 people, and all these kids who don't even speak English are singing the words to the songs you wrote. It's just like like you said, it's almost an inexplicable feeling. And it's like I never want to not have that opportunity. I don't want to. I just don't see myself doing anything else than traveling and playing, and if people like it, that's awesome. I'm doing this pretty much as much for me as I am for other people. Like I have so much to say, and I just hope people can relate, and I don't think I'll ever do anything else. I mean, obviously I got to work. There was a band that I saw play. They were from, I think, Massachusetts, but they moved to Europe, and they're a band called Jaya the Cat. And I bought their cassette tape. Tells you how old I am. And the name of the song was "Shit Jobs for Rock," and I've never related to a song title more in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2.5 years ago, whatever it was. The band Coheed and Cambria released the album Unheavenly Creatures. And in that album, there was a song called Pavilion the Long Way Home. And it tells the story of Claudio, the lead singer, how he was thinking about potentially leaving the band and giving it all up. And it was one of those songs that he was thinking about not including in the album because he wasn't sure if it flowed with their normal concept albums the storytelling that they did. However, he found a way to include it because it was that powerful of a song. He found a way to include it, and there's a lyric in there which kind of describes kind of what you just said, and I want to go ahead and read it now so the listeners can understand where I'm coming from with this. It says, "The glistening wet concrete, the heat of the road, the clamoring hands and the bus you call home. This is it. This is what you believe. In this space, I don't fit. The same day repeats with the things that you see, dirty dressing room carpets and broken TVs. Is this it? in this water I'll tread till the day that I'm dead. You know, it's that
Wow,
constant
man.
repeat, that constant repeat of, like you said, I mean, being on the road 10 months out of the year, 15 years, you know, it's it can be grinding, especially someone
Very much so.
like him now. He has a son and all this other stuff, but at the same time it was like, it's his passion, it's his lifeblood. I mean, and it seems like that album, to be honest with you, reinvigorated his whole idea of music, because I mean, like he released just a acoustic version of the most popular song on that album called "The Gutter," and a bunch of other stuff. And it's one of those things, again, just like you were talking about, the grind almost killed him, and he
Oh
almost
man,
gave it all up. I mean,
that's why
he was even going to give up the comic book too, and just say, "I'm done. I'm going to be a family man."
you get so
And
burnt out, man. Like
yeah,
it's grueling, and you do like you lose your love for it when you're beating it to death. Like you said, 10 months a year for 15 years, and playing a show to 40 people in friggin' New Mexico in the winter, and like you're like on a Tuesday, and you're like, what am I doing? Like this is brutal. But then you play a show back home for a few thousand people, and you're like, what else would I do?
yeah, and I definitely get it. Um, I mean, look at somebody like Metallica, or Slipknot, or Aerosmith, or anyone that's been around for 20 plus years. At that point it's yeah, there's still a brotherhood, but most of the time they're getting to the point where they can't stand each other, and they're just there for the
Yeah.
fans. And Corey Taylor, with his new album that just came out, his solo album CMFT Can't Be Stopped. He was saying, sometimes when they're in the recording studio as Slipknot, it's toxic, it's filthy, it's not good for mental health, and there's
Hmm.
so many toxic people and blah 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 blah. It's hard to fathom, at the end of the day, that kind of stuff happening, as a fan, but as somebody who's been there and done that, like I have, and obviously you have,
Hmm.
it only makes you go, okay, they put up with this shit because A, they love it, and B, they love the fans. At the end of the day,
Yep.
it's still a business, but the business at some points is still thrown out and said, you know what, it's about the music. I hate you to
Hmm.
death, but
Yeah.
we make good music together.
It's the balance of the between it being a job on one side of the seesaw and your love for it on the other. I think the reason why my first band, A Lost for Words, stopped is because it was too heavy on the job side, and we were just like, if you hate a job that you have, look for another one. And I think that's what a lot of the guys decided to do.
Yeah, I mean, because if people say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But the moment playing guitar, playing the drums, singing, writing music becomes a job, it's no longer about the music. It's just about making money, and that's not what this business is about. Yes, it's
Right.
about obviously it's about making money, but at the same time, no one gets into this business to make money. They get into this business to make music.
We just loved playing shows south of Boston, and then we started playing shows in the city, swapping shows. Like we would get a show for that band 4 Year Strong on the South Shore, and they would have us play a show with them in Worcester. And we started doing that in Portland and in Jersey, and then this was like 2003, 2004, and that's when we started touring. We didn't expect anything. We just wanted to have fun.
So, you know, what led to you and Caitlin getting together and starting this?
All right, so basically, Safe Hands was an idea in my head. I mean, before the band broke up, like for mostly listen to like I said before, it's like soccer mom music that I'm writing. I listen to like Sarah Bareilles, the Civil Wars, Ray LaMontagne, John Mayer. I just like easy listening, not reinventing the wheel, but very well written songs. And I've had, these ideas that I couldn't use for A Lost for Words. So once we gracefully hung it up, I had I think I had like 3 or 4 songs, and I was like, these would sound really good as a duet. And then I was thinking, I was like, who can I do this with? And then I thought of Caitlin, who I went to high school with, who had never done anything professionally, music or anything. But we were in the high school play together in high school. We were in Beauty and the Beast. I was Cogsworth the Clock, and she was Belle. And I just remember her being like one of the best singers I ever heard. So I hit her up. I messaged her. I was like, "Do you want to come over and see if you like these songs and you want to try and sing them together?" And it went so well. I was like, "This is something special." And so here we are, about to drop a full length record. Song I believe it's the best stuff I've ever written. I think it's very accessible to everybody. I think people who like my pop punk band are gonna be shocked. Like, wow, this is like, you know, pop indie country radio hybrid stuff. But it's honest. I'm not trying to do anything. If I was trying to do something, I would, you know, do a dance beat over it and just make a 1-word hook and do it all over and over again. This is just honest. I sad songs, and then very, very, very positive, happy love songs. Like the extremes of both ends. But I hope I iterated it in a way that people are like, yeah, this brings me back to exactly how I felt when I was, either in love or in a breakup, or how I feel now.
So, normally, not during a pandemic, you would start touring, really kind of pushing the album. And then, during the middle of a tour, the album would drop, and then you would complete the tour cycle, and then start another tour cycle, and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And I've asked this, of everyone that I've had on the show, however many bands I've had on the show, over 60, that have released albums this year, you can't do that right now.
No.
So how are you guys punching people in the face and saying, hey, we're here, listen to this because you're going to love it? How are you promoting this? How are you getting out there? How are you showing that you're here above everybody else that's been dropping music this year?
So basically, I'm working with a media company that's helping me get the word out there, and obviously sharing as much, and I'm even cross sharing with with a loss for words social media. Just pretty much, this record is something that I started recording 2+ years ago, and now I got it done, and I'm ready to just release it into the world, close my eyes, take a deep breath, and say, all right, you did it. It's out there. This has been a long time coming. I dedicated the whole record to my father, who passed away a couple years ago. It's being released on his birthday. The album cover is a picture of him as a kid with all my aunts and uncles. It's more like in honor of him, an homage to him, because he was my number one supporter my entire career as a musician. So I'm just, dude, to be honest with you, I'm just so freaking relieved. I'm proud of what I put out there. I think everybody's going to like it, whether 1,000 people hear it or 1,000,000 people hear it. I'm just like, it's like the heaviest weight is off my back, just happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. And it's, when you put years and years of effort into something, to finally see it come to fruition, regardless of what that is, whether it's, a CD, a movie, a art project, a building, whatever the case might be, whatever job you do, it becomes your baby. It becomes your wife, your husband, your daughter. I mean, it becomes everything and everything about you, anything and everything about you. And, to finally see it come to fruition and finally see it, in front of people's faces and seeing their reaction, again, regardless of the industry, it's a relief. At the same time, it's again a feeling that it just can't be described. So I can only imagine what you're feeling right now.
It's like it's that feeling of like completion, like resolve almost is how I feel. Like now I just like I can create more art, I can move on, but what I wanted to do for myself, I finally freaking did it, you know? It's and it was very very nerve-wracking for me to put out a record I didn't write with four of my best friends, and this is just, you know, me and a guitar and my friends singing, but me singing too. I've never been in the forefront of it, and I don't care to be, but I feel like I could have only translated what I wrote myself, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, the album drops when?
November 16th.
So from there, where do you guys go?
From there, I've already got another better 2/3 of an album written. I want to keep, probably get back into the studio and stuff. I'm not savvy with like how the world is now that everybody's on lockdown. I mean, ideally we do maybe a couple live streams and stuff. If but for me, I'm just, until the world is normal, I'm in creation mode. I just want to pump out music, and I've actually, funny enough, because I'm releasing another record the week after the Safe Hands record with my band from high school. Since we've all been stuck in the house, we recorded a full-length record with other songs I wrote that we haven't released any new music in 16 years, and that'll be coming out like the week after.
Jesus.
Dude, I've been sitting on like 30 songs for the last year. I'm like, I gotta get these out of here before they go stale.
Yeah, definitely. Well, damn, I mean, you know, you've definitely used the quarantine wisely.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when, you know, when COVID was new and everybody was deathly afraid of even going out to get a loaf of bread. Like, we were like, okay, we don't know if we're gonna die if we go outside, so we stayed home for like 3 weeks. I was just up in my man cave, just writing music. Like, I was writing songs about COVID at one point. Like, and I think it was good because I had, you know, I was home so long that I actually and I never just grab a guitar and say, okay, it's time to write a song. Usually I don't pick up a guitar for 2 weeks, but then I think of a sentence in my head and then I go write a song in a half hour. But this, I locked myself in the room and I wrote a shit ton of songs.
That's awesome, man. It really, really, truly is. So, you know, let me be the first to say, if you guys decide to do a live stream, you are more than welcome to come on here and do that live stream here for 50,000 people. Guaranteed audience there. Because, you know, I've done that before. Over the summer, when I was missing live music. I mean, I went to 10 different shows last year, and this year, none, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was missing it.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I was missing it big time. So I went on the hunt, and I got national acts, local acts, and I put on a summer concert series with 3 or 4 bands a week, just playing live music. And it went off without a hitch. You know, 25 different bands came on, and it was phenomenal.
That's amazing, man.
It was one of the greatest things I ever did, and I'm really proud of it. So, you know, I'm all about doing it again if I need to, with some new bands. And
hey, now that we're linked up, I will absolutely come on and play some songs with Cait.
Absolutely, man. It would be an honor. It would be a privilege, especially, you know, right around the time the album comes out, just to give you guys a little bit more press. I'll be more than happy to do that because it would be so much fun. I mean, I'll just sit back, let y'all take the stream, and I'll just sit there and listen. Because again, that's it's awesome, and I love doing that for you guys. I love doing that for anybody. So one of the great things about this show is, you know, the fact that I'm a hardcore metal guy. I always have been. And, you know, with this show, I don't discriminate. You know, I don't say, oh, I only talk to rock guys. I only talk to metal guys. I only do this. I don't discriminate. I've had country acts on here. I've had, you know, rap artists, pop artists, R&B, everybody. And it's allowed me to really kind of, again, open my ears to stuff that I was missing. the pop of the world, the country of the world, stuff that I was like, I'll never listen to that because I'm not a fan of it. But then, an artist comes on here and it's like, okay, you know what? I got to play their songs. I got to do them right. And then I'll listen to their song and I'll be like, fuck, where's this been all my life? Okay, so now it's like, okay, now I have this, eclectic list of, songs on my Amazon playlist, and it's like, okay, cool. It's opened my eyes to stuff that I was denying for such a long time, because I always wanted to be that rock guy. I always wanted to be against the grain and, listen to Scream and listen to Death and listen to this and that. And it's like, you know what? Now it's like, okay, I'll listen to this happy country song. I have no problem with that.
Right. There was my whole teenage years. I was a skate punk, and if you listen to something that was too poppy, my friends would make fun of me. Like, I would listen to Less Than Jake, and they would be like, "Oh, this has horns. It's stupid." Like, dude, I just like good music. Doesn't matter what it is.
Hell, I mean, one of my favorite bands, actually a band out of Boston, Ice Nine Kills, had Less Than Jake on their last album.
Shows with those guys.
Did you really?
Yeah. So they were a band called Ice Nine, and
yep.
I think they're a North Shore band, and we were a South Shore band, so we always played shows in the early 2000s with them.
Yeah, that was back in their ska days.
Oh yeah, they were definitely a different style of music back then. And actually, we actually have been what job I'm working at now. We just did some merchandising for them. They were custom Ice Nine Kills axes that they sold.
Nice. I have been trying to get Spencer on the show for I can't even tell you how long. Spencer is my.
I mean, maybe I can facilitate that for you.
If you could facilitate that for me, bro, I would owe you everything. I mean, the thing about it is, it's like, since everyone's at home, everyone's focusing on the creativity, they're getting inundated, and it's like, I'm probably one of the most downloaded podcasters out there of the year. But yet they're not going to look at my email because it's like they're just getting inundated. So it's like I can't get anyone, I'm having to literally reach out to like everybody to get everybody I want on here. So it sucks sometimes, but at the same time it's pretty good. But Spencer is whew. Yeah, I would love to get Spencer on the show, man. I could talk to him for hours.
Oh yeah, no, I'll talk to the guy who runs the company. I'll try and link you guys up.
Dude, that would be epic. Epic. They are currently probably my top band right now of today. Like, that's awesome. I mean, my favorite band of all time is A7X, Avenged Sevenfold. But Spencer and the boys, they are slowly ticking away at that A7X mark. And they're
crushing it right now, man.
They really are. And the thing about it is, like, with them, they've lived off of the Silver Scream for the last 2 years. And they're just now, right. This Thursday, the 29th, they're putting out they're doing a live stream from a recorded show from last year, and they're putting out a 19-song live album this week, and it's like, they're just killing it. They're killing it across the board.
They are grinding too.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on YouTube and see the countless reaction videos to their stuff. That crowd, just absolutely loves them. And Boston's come out with, Boston has had some of the greatest bands out there, whether it be All That Remains, whether it be, Ice Nine Kills, I've even heard of your previous band, and I've listened to a couple of albums of you guys from them. So it's like, Boston is like a just an all around good music town, and when I say Boston, I mean Massachusetts.
In general is,
yeah.
I mean, we've a lot of good artists, and it's just been such a good scene, for alternative type music that I think the support from everybody in New England has brought attention to bands and helped everybody get where they got.
I mean, Yeah, because when you think about it, excuse me, when you think about it, you've only got really two stains on the market of a Massachusetts music, and that would be Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and New Kids on the Block.
Hey, you can't make fun of Mark Wahlberg on a podcast with me, man.
I gotta at least. I gotta take a. They are royalty, and you know, to be honest with you, I mean, Mark Wahlberg is a badass, and I love that guy. I met him once. He's just a kind soul, but good vibrations, man. Come on.
You know, they should be playing that at the Red Sox games instead of Sweet Caroline.
See, that's one of my favorite karaoke and piano bar songs, man. Sweet Caroline is the jam.
Oh, so good, so good.
Literally,
one thing I miss, man, is even yeah. I miss sports, man. Even though the Red Sox were the most embarrassing atrocity that's ever happened in baseball history, I just miss going to Fenway, man. It's my sanctuary. As they said in the movie The Town, it's the cathedral of Boston.
You know, you say, you know, the Red Sox are, you know, that bad, but you know what? Only the team that I root for baseball, the Nationals, can win the World Series and then not even make it into the playoffs the next year.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's that too. So, you know, at least you can take that to the bank on that one.
Yeah. We have a solid streak of winning the World Series and then being last place the next year. We've done that like 4 times.
Yeah. I know that feeling all too well. I'm also an Indians fan, so you know that happens too.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, I'm originally from Ohio, so you know I gotta take my good with the bad. You know, we got the Buckeyes, which is.
Are you from Cleveland?
Right outside of Cleveland, a little city called Lorain. It's right on Lake Erie.
Okay, yeah, we love going through there and going to Melt, man, getting some grilled cheeses.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, we take the good with the bad in Ohio. We have our in Ohio we have our Buckeyes, which is, like I said, the greatest, you know, football team of all time. Then we have the Indians and the Bengals and the Browns, which are kind of stains, and then we have the Cavs, which only were good when LeBron was there. So you know we don't have much in Ohio. So you know, I'll take my Ohio State any day of the week, and you know, enjoy watching them on my Saturdays, and then quietly root for everybody else and not admit it.
We used to play some shows right by the college. I remember being there like around a game day, and they had this beer tower where like every hour closer to the game, it got cheaper for the bigger beer tower. It was probably like PBR or something, but I remember this beer tower had a football helmet on the top. And it was like $7, and it was probably like 20 gallons of friggin' beer. Needless to say, I ended up sleeping under the van in the rain that night. That was an interesting adventure in Ohio.
You know, I'm sure a lot of musicians, hell, I'm sure a lot of just regular everyday people have that exact same story that live in Ohio as a regular basis. You know, I love my home state, but you know what? They're not exactly the smartest on some occasions. You know, so you know, I take the good with the bad.
You know, hell, man, I had a friggin' blast.
You know,
playing, I think some of the guys are local to that area. It was a pop punk band called City Lights. They were really good. Check them out if you get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio's had some great, you know, bands as well. I mean, like Beartooth is one of the biggest bands to come out of Ohio in a long time. So I mean, you know, Ohio has, you know, some good bands too. Plus, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Beartooth many times.
Oh, really?
So, Oshie, who's from Beartooth, was the singer of that band, City Lights.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, he's a good friend of me and all the guys in A Loss for Words. We grew up playing with their band, City Lights, and now some of those guys are in Beartooth.
That's awesome, man. Beartooth is one of
Oh
my
yeah, we
again.
played with them in the UK, and fairly sure we played with them in Japan. It's like it's all interconnecting community.
It really is. You know,
Yeah.
I've said this 1,000 times.
It doesn't matter
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I mean, it doesn't matter the styles. Like, we were a pop punk band, you know, they're more of like a metal band, and we all know each other. We've known each other forever, and we end up playing festivals in Belgium with these people, and you know, we like a band that we played with, a Canadian punk rock band called This Is a Standoff. We ended up sharing a stage with them in Tokyo for a festival, and then they were in a skate punk band called Belvedere that I grew up listening to, and then we ended up being in Moscow the same time as them, and we met up with them in Russia and ended up drinking some vodka. It's just, you always cross paths with people throughout the years, you know, touring, and it's good to catch up with familiar faces when you're that far from home too.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, you know, I love about the rock community as a whole, even though it's got 5 million subgenres, is that when you go to a festival, you know, it doesn't really matter if it's pop punk, you know, metalcore, emo core, this, that, or the other thing. You know, when you buy a ticket to those festivals and there are 25 bands over 3 days or however many, you know, things, the crowd is always full. You know, you never see a portion of the day that's not full. But then at the same time, when you're standing back and you're maybe up in the stands, if it's an open air, you know, arena like that, you can look down and you can see every color, every race, every, you know, age, religion, you know, and it's just euphoric because, you know, just to see that many types of people coming together for one type of thing.
Just the common interest. Everybody's there to be positive and have a good time and enjoy. Just, it's my favorite thing in the world of festivals, because no matter where in the world it is or where in the States, like 20, 30 bands, everybody's there hanging out, and you just thousands of people there to just see music all day, whether they know the artist or not. It's a passion of people. It's people go, like, I remember growing up, going to Warped Tour. I would buy the Warped Tour compilation album, and I would discover, you know, it was usually 2 discs. I would discover 30 new bands I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just for the love of the art, the music.
Absolutely. I mean, and you know, I got to give credit to, you know, like Danny Wimmer Presents and all the other, you know, festival promoters here in the States. But you know what? The festivals that happen in Europe, like you were just mentioning, you know, they just don't compare to the ones that happen over, you know, across the pond, you know, whether it be Download Fest or Rock Am Ring or, you know, anything else like that. I mean, those festivals.
Reading and Leeds.
Whew, you know, 100,000 people plus at these shows, and it's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. My favorite festival is in the UK, and it's called Slam Dunk Festival. And it's usually 3 days. There's one in the Midlands, there's one in Northern England or Scotland, and there's one in the South. And it's just everybody from all over the world just there for 3 days. Like, I think the last one, there was like 10,000 people there. We actually, my band that broke up in 2015, A Loss for Words, we just played last year's Slam Dunk because it was the 10-year anniversary of one of our records. So we got back together to just go hang out for 3 days. It was like the best weekend ever.
That's awesome, man. So, I know you got to get to work, you know, selling your merch and doing your cool shit. Still living the music dream. Which, by the way, I commend you on, man. You know, it's got to be hard to, you know, go, you know, to go back to, you know, doing an actual job. You you said you love it and you enjoy doing it. You can do it forever. But at the same time, it's hard for people to transition. So I give you my hats off to you on that one. It would be very, very difficult for me to go back into the working life after doing this for so long. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to ask you before we head out here is, you know, once this whole pandemic is over and you're able to tour again, how are you going to make sure that it's different this time with you and Caitlin, to prevent that burnout? What did you learn and what can you teach, the thousands of people listening that want to be in that exact same shoes that you have to not, to not get that burnout? What's going to be happening different this time?
I think take care of yourself better is what I would tell myself. Um, you know, give your body and mind some rest. You don't have to take every opportunity that's given to you. You don't have to do a 5-week tour that doesn't make sense for you just because you need to be on the road. Um, my plan for this is I would love to be on the road like 4-5 months a year, and then come home and work on it as a craft and a business and a brand, and be in studio a lot. I want to do more co-writes with people. I want it to be fun, but also, fruitful. I want it to be a source of income, obviously, but I also don't want it to become a miserable job. I don't want it to be like, oh, I gotta go for 6 weeks and then come home for a week and then you're gone for another 4. Like I don't think I'll ever do that again. But if I can spend half a year touring and half a year creating, and I think I would be, that's the dream right there. But yeah, don't wear yourself out too thin. Don't beat it to death. You don't have to be on the road. It's not the 90s or early thousands anymore. You don't, like, so many of these bands are just building an online presence and they're not even touring. Like, it's just a different universe. At least like back in the day, we had to go to every show and flyer for our shows. We had to be on the road all year. We had to be going to malls. Like, we did a lot. I think a reason that I got to where I did, however, whatever level you think that is for people with me, like moderate to low, whatever, we followed the Warped Tour for 2 different years before we ever played it. We followed the entire thing with like 11 people in a van and sold T-shirts and CDs out of backpacks, walking around with iPods, hustling. And we sold thousands and thousands of shirts and CDs, and I think that's what got us noticed. But you don't need to do that anymore. Like, take care of yourself, do things that are beneficial and not just to do it. Wear a mask, drink lots of water, be kind to your fellow humans. We're all here for a brief flicker of a moment in time. Let's try and make life as pleasant and equal and opportunistic for everybody.
I could not said it better myself, man. That's pretty prolific, man. That's pretty awesome.
Empathy, kindness, love. It's the only thing we got. Let's hope that everybody can achieve their goals and have an equal playing field to thrive. That's all I care about.
I feel the same, man. Rivalries, red versus blue, you know, hypocrisies and all the, the fighting within this, country, bands, corporations, whatever you want to say, at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all have one central goal, and that's to live our lives to the fullest. And
absolutely, man,
we gotta remember that, we can't continue what we're doing regardless. And we've got to get back to somewhat sense of a normal and just, enjoy each other again.
You know what? I'm going to be the first one in line to stick me in the ass with that needle and give me the serum so I don't get COVID, so I can go hug all my friends and loved ones, and let's get this universe back on track. All we need is, like I said, understanding, empathy, lend a helping hand to those who need it. This Christmas, don't give somebody a gift they don't want, maybe give them a ride somewhere, go for a hike, put some gas in their car, invite them over for dinner. If, health standard wise, like if you're allowed to do that, if we're not locked down, let's lift each other up and let's just help each other. It's hard enough, it's hard enough with people helping, let alone doing it yourself or being stuck inside like we are. We just need each other right now.
Absolutely. And again, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. Guys, November 16th, right?
Safe Hands, highs and lows. First full length ever from Safe Hands. Yes, I can't wait to show you. Be well, everybody. I love you all. We're in this together, and have a good one.
Yeah, and definitely, I'll hit you up on social media, and we'll talk more.
Yeah, I'll try and link you up with the Ice 9 guys too.
That dude, again, if you could pull that off, that would be fantastic. But I would love to, chat more about possibly setting up a stream for you and showing off you guys' music. But
Much appreciated, man. I appreciate this a lot.
Hey, not a problem, man. That's what we do in this business. Help each other out, right?
Absolutely, man.
But you take care. Enjoy your rest of your day. Be safe driving to work. And we'll talk soon, man.
All right, you too, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Bye. All right, guys. And that's our Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the love that we share on the show. Tomorrow. Join me live again, because I'm not live right now, if you didn't notice. Join me tomorrow, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, for Scream Queen Sadie Katz, star of the new movie Amityville Harvest, also past movies such as Wrong Turn 6, and so many other great horror movies. So come back tomorrow and enjoy that for a nice Halloween edition, or a few days early, Halloween edition of Suck It Podcast. But until tomorrow, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.